first 3 months. Experience a world of elite benefits. Terms and conditions apply.
Good morning. You're listening to the Business Breakfast. 21 minutes past 8. Tom and Brandy with you this morning.
The markets on Dubai Eye 103.8.
Right, let's have a look at where we are with markets this morning. We've had some Australian trade data out. Markets still digesting what we've seen in the last couple of days from Japan, the Tankan survey, etc. Everything is down or flat this morning. South Korea and China fairly flat. Trade China, trade China, put those three words in order this morning as well. We've got Australia down by about 1/3 of 1%, and Nikkei down by more than 1.5%.
Commodities.
With EGA, Emirates Global Aluminium, the largest industrial company in the UAE outside of oil and gas. Visit ega.ae.
Yeah, that follows quite the losing streak on Wall Street yesterday as well. If we have a look at oil, and we're speaking to Sean Evers this morning about why oil has shrugged off those OPEC plus cuts over the last week or so, his answer pretty much along the lines of maybe people are thinking they'll believe the cuts when they see them. We've had a 5-month low when it comes to WTI, so the American benchmark there. Brent, 74.67 this morning.
This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye 103.8.
With Emirates. Drop your bags early and breeze through the airport later with the Emirates City Check-in and Travel Store at ICD Brookfield Place, DIFC. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
All right, thank you for those sending in their best wishes for Richard Dean. He's taking care of a couple of health things, but he will be back very shortly. We should pass your wishes on. Moving away from the black stuff, the oil price, literally moving away from fossil fuels, Dubai Financial Market during COP has launched a pilot carbon credit trading program. It's gone live with just over a dozen participants on the trading side. To put it in context for us and to explain exactly what those companies are doing, Eric Salomons is the Executive Vice President and Head of Product Development at the DFM. Eric, it's lovely to have you in the studio. Thanks for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So talk to us about what you have set up here, this carbon credit trading scheme that you're trying out for size.
Yeah, so at the DFM, we've been, over the last 20 years, we've been operating the securities market. I think that sets us up for a great new venture, which presents itself in the carbon credit trading. Now, to avoid rushing into new ventures and to start understanding what the demand would like for these carbon credits, we gathered 15 of the larger Dubai corporates on the demand side, so people that are actually buying these carbon credits. We found credits that are generated by the likes of DIWA, for example. We want to have price assessment providers that provide a global perspective on these carbon credits to be part of that as well. Our brokers are participating in that, typically the brokers that cater to institutional flow. And we've gathered them around for a pilot that started on Tuesday morning.
Okay, so let's break this down further. When people are trading carbon credits, what are they actually trading?
So the idea of carbon credits originates almost a couple of decades ago, but most recently 160 countries agreed in Paris in 2015, came into effect in 2016, that countries should start looking at reducing the target of climate change to 1.5% over pre-industrial level. So that's where that's the aim for introducing measures or tools, if you like, for countries to start thinking about how are we going to go about that. So obviously that can be done by taxation, but equally it can be done by cap and trade, or setting a cap that then reduces over time, and have companies and corporations that are faster, more efficient in doing that and achieving that earlier, to give them credit for that, which then become the credits traded to those that are laggards or slower.
Okay, so those that are creating the carbon credits here, that are effectively removing carbon from the atmosphere, and that then gets traded as the credit. You mentioned DIWA there. There are a couple of other projects as well. Tell me what those projects are. What have you chosen there?
So we've created as this is a pilot, and it's our inroad into trading these instruments. We traded 7 different projects. DY is one provider with two projects. One is a technology change in one of their chiller plants, and the other one is our credits that arrive from the solar plant that is built out in the desert here. The other credits are nature-based, and we also have a so-called photovoltaic, which is a solar power plant in India. So a limited number, but what's interesting is that they have a different variety of price. So our buyers, the demand side, can actually pick and choose what price they would like to pay for a ton of carbon offset.
Okay, and there's been criticism of carbon credit trading schemes before, that the projects might be overstated in terms of how effective they are taking carbon out of the atmosphere, or they might be projects that would have happened anyway. So does it count towards actually helping the world heal itself? How are you verifying and choosing these projects?
So in our verification, we've worked with and relied on verification bodies that have a good reputation. So the DWA credits, for example, are registered with the United Nations Clean Development Mechanism. The Vera is another registration or verification body, if you like, with a very good reputation. Now, I'm very much aware of the criticism of some of the efficiencies that exists within, for example, nature-based solutions and the efficiencies, and as you say, those might have happened anyway. I think where the world is moving to, and we can see that, for example, at price levels in Europe, that technology-based solutions or geology-based solutions, a permanent removal of credits may be the future, and that will occur at a different price level. So, for example, credits in Europe typically trade between 75, 80, 40, 45 to 80 dollars a ton of carbon credit, where the credits of nature-based are much, much lower. So I think that's where the world will gravitate to. That's one point. The other point that I'd like to make is that these methodologies evolve. So when people were looking for credits, maybe 5, 6, even under earlier agreements, signing Kyoto way back, people were looking for ways to offset carbon. And the technologies that were applied there and the knowledge that was available then has evolved into different things. So the criticism is there. We're very much aware of that. And what we want to do is evolve with the industry to help set these standards of what is actually included and admitted to our markets.
Okay, we've just got 1 minute left with you. What about the other side of that, those companies that will be buying the credits? Because one of the other criticisms is that it doesn't actually change behaviour if you can just buy someone else's good behaviour. In the 1 year of the offsetting period in this scheme, what do you want the companies that are actually trading the credits to do? So,
first and foremost, we want them to start thinking about what their demand in the future would look like. So without going into too much detail, every corporation in Dubai possibly should start thinking about what is their carbon footprint and how would they like to offset that still in a voluntary on a voluntary basis in the future. If that's the case, and if they've mapped that and understand that, then I think if they're ready to start procuring these credits as well. So for them to start understanding, mapping, and building that understanding is a critical element to this pilot as well. And we've been having these discussions with participants in the pilot. What will it look like in the future?
20 seconds. If the pilot works, how big could this get?
So the estimates vary, as is usual by emerging and nascent markets. Estimates, this is McKinsey number, in 2030, this could be up to 50 billion. Others say it's slightly less. Others have multiples of that. But in either way, the climate action that and the positive sense that I get out of COB is that the climate action is now, and voluntary markets are going to be a part of that. And we want to evolve with that.
Okay, well, let's see how it all goes. Dubai Financial Market starting trading on its pilot carbon credit trading program. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Eric Solomon is Executive Vice President and Head of Product Development at the DFM.